Welcome to the Craft Service Table, the podcast where we talk about films, television, art, and entertainment from the perspective of the people who make them. I'm Howard, and joining me today, producer, assistant to the VP of Production Sustainability at HBO and Max, artist, avid interior designer. Not only is she so immersed in the world of the Lord of the Rings right now, she is the Lord of the Rings. It's Parvathi Devi from Silver Hour Film Club. Welcome to the show.
Wow, that was good.
Was that a good intro?
That was great.
How would you rate that intro?
That's a solid 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. So
Yeah.
where did that 1 point go to?
I don't know. I think I didn't get the Lord of the Rings. I guess because I have a lot of rings. Is that why?
I mean, because you're so into Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit right now.
That's true.
We are trying to watch the trilogy together.
Yeah.
And also, you have a lot of rings.
Yeah, I do.
So you not only are you into Lord of the Rings, you are
That's funny.
the Lord of the Rings.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite ring you own right now?
Well, you just got me this one that's like it looks like a mouse, but it's like wrapped, it's like tail is wrapped around my finger, and it's like made of silver, and it's very cute, and it feels like I have a little buddy on my hand every time I'm just like typing away.
That's your favorite one?
Yeah, right now it's my favorite one for sure. I was wearing it the other day at the office, and I was like, I hope someone sees me typing, and it's like, whoa. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sitting with me and recording with me, and we're gonna talk about all the things about what you do career-wise, professionally, and what you do on the side too. So what's your favorite craft service item? That's our intro question to everyone.
Yeah. It's gotta be, and this is a very uncommon one, but there was one set that I wanted where they had those applesauce pouches, and it was what I needed when I was there, you know. And I think it's because it tastes so good, and it's so easy to eat, and like you can reseal it and put it in a corner when you're not eating it, and
Right.
it's so good. It was on the set that I first met Saya on.
Oh,
Yeah, and
shout out to Saya.
and I think she was in charge of buying like craft services that day, and I was like, "This is amazing!" Like I told her that, and I was like, "This is amazing." And she also had seaweed chips, which I cannot eat, unfortunately. But yeah, applesauce pouches.
Nice. Well, what was the set you met Saya on?
It was a random like car app ad that like Isaac actually reached out to me. It was like the first thing I did post pandemic.
Isaac Howe, another one of our friends.
Yeah, it was my first paid thing too. It was like,
Wow.
They paid me $100 to PA for one day.
That's not bad. For starting off,
That's pretty bad.
It's not that bad starting off, I guess.
Actually, that was a pretty significant set for me, because that was also the first time I drove on the freeway on my own.
Oh.
And like properly drove on the freeway for more than like 5 minutes. Because I was like, if I can't get over my fear of driving for a set, then like what am I doing here, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
but
look at you now.
I know, look at me
driving
now.
like 3 hours per day on the highway, bumper to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you get into filmmaking?
It's kind of weird because I feel like when I tell the story, it doesn't really... let me just tell it. Basically, I think me and my sister Aishu, we were always like very into watching the behind the scenes on like the DVDs when you would watch movies, like going to the special features and then watching the behind the scenes stuff. It was always really interesting to us, and our parents always really liked movies, like Bollywood movies and stuff. So that was one thing, that like movies were always a part of our life, even if it wasn't necessarily Hollywood. Growing up, I think me and Aishu were always like telling stories and like writing things, and like we were just like artists in our own ways generally, I guess. And then in high school, I had a project where you had to like put together a video about a specific country you were assigned, and how something about their origin story, or like a big war that happened there. So I just remember putting together like the stupidest like reenactment of how the country of Laos
Okay.
Yeah, how the country of Laos had some revolution or something. And it was the stupidest video ever, because it was just like a reenactment of like a bunch of us like on the field at school just like attacking each other kind of thing.
So it's like a high school project with a bunch of your friends recording. Yeah.
But I had to use iMovie for that, because like obviously we needed to cut it together, right?
Yeah.
And then I think I also had to put music under it or something too. And I just like enjoyed the process of it because it was really satisfying.
Yeah.
And it was really terrible and really bad. And I think it's like hidden on my YouTube.
Oh my God.
Right now.
It's still up there?
I think it's hidden. I don't think the
Can I see it
general
later?
public, maybe if I can find it.
Are you in it?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I think I was the cinematographer
Oh yeah,
on my
the
on my
director of
iPhone.
photography.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so I did that and it was pretty interesting. And I guess my mom like saw me working on that project. So then later, like the next summer, my mom really likes making friends out of like anybody that she meets basically. And I guess on one of her walks around our apartment complex, she like met this woman and they would like talk a lot. And then this woman told her about how her daughter was graduating high school and she was turning 18, and that's a really big deal in like Filipino culture. I forgot what it's called, but they have something that's really similar to like a quinceañera, but when you turn 18. And so she wanted to have a video to play at that event, basically. And it was essentially just like a slideshow of like videos and photos of her daughter
Yeah.
when she was like very, very young to her age right now with like music underneath it. So really, really basic stuff. But it took me a long time because they sent me so much stuff. Or so, okay, sorry, backing up. My mom said, oh, my daughter can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my mom asked me like how much you should charge. And I was like, I have no idea. So I don't even remember how
How
much.
old were you back at this point?
Like maybe 16.
Damn, and you're already charging people. Wow.
Well, I think it was like my mom didn't want me to just be doing it for nothing. But I mean, I think it was like nothing. I don't think they, spent that much on it. But anyways, they sent me so much like footage and like photos of this girl's childhood and stuff, and I ended up thinking like I can't just randomly put this together. I need to chronologically order all of these photos and videos.
Yeah.
And some of it was really hard, but I basically like memorized what this girl looked
Oh
like
my God.
from like when she was a baby to like getting older and stuff. And I think that was really what ended up ultimately making the family like love the video so much. I just remember they came over and they watched the final thing, and like it was like the daughter and the mom, they were watching it together, and I just remember like I couldn't watch their reactions because I was so like I just felt so kind of like like what if they
Insecure
hate it.
about it,
Yeah, so I just like sat in the corner in the back like watching the video with them, but I didn't look at their reactions. And then I like remember just hearing like sniffling, and I was like, oh my God. And like it's because they were crying. And I was like, I know that it's not technically because of me that they're crying, but like I was able to put this thing together that like cohesively put all these memories together instead of them just like flipping through a book and looking at this stuff. And I think at that point I was like, wait, this is actually really cool because you can affect people's emotions based on how you put stuff together.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it really started for me, when I was like, maybe this is like a thing I could actually do and like be good at. And I think the entire process of doing it was just really enjoyable for me too, because it was like I had whatever creative control at the time that I felt like I had, I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was a project that really made me feel like maybe I can actually pursue this. And then at school, we luckily had 2 classes for digital video production.
High school?
Yes.
Okay.
So we had 2 high school classes that you could actually learn to do stuff and make projects and then publish it on our Washington High School. They called it WHTV. So you could publish that on like the channel. And then basically every Wednesday there was like a free period that they would play it across the entire school. And so your projects would be seen by the entire school, whether it be like segments on campus or like a short film or like a music video, whatever it was that you wanted to do. The entire school would see it. And so I started taking those classes, and then that's when stuff really started like developing for me. And it was like a great creative outlet outside of like AP classes and honors
100%.
classes and
And it eventually led you being into film school, and then kind of you're pursuing your career as a producer too, right? Your story kind of reminded me of when I was in middle school back in China. So like in China, they don't really promote any creative outlet. It's a very it's feel like a jail if you're a creative person, right? And at the time, I found my interest in video editing or putting images together that's moving, and I remember I was doing also something like you did, like a slideshow of a summation of all the pictures and videos that we took throughout the semester of our classmates and our friends. We put together like a master video, a montage, and then we show it at the end of the semester to the entire class. And that's something that we have to beg the teacher to do because care. And like we had to sneak our phones and we had to sneak our little cameras because they get confiscated if you get caught. So we kind of have to like do it like a spy.
Yeah.
Do it secretly. Yeah, and that's kind of, I think that's one of my first memory of me putting something together digitally and having an interest in it. But fast forward, now after film school, you graduated for 2 years, almost 2 years now, right? You are working at HBO.
Yeah.
Or should I say Max?
It's both. I mean, yeah, it's both.
It's both HBO and Max.
Yeah.
HBO and Max. And you are in the sustainability department in HBO.
Yes.
So can you talk to me about that department, kind of what you do, what your day-to-day look like, and what does the sustainability department actually do? Because it seems like such a niche corner in the film industry that not a lot of people know about.
Yeah. Well, actually, I should correct myself. It's not the sustainability department. We're in the production department, but we are sustainability within production. But it's kind of cool because a lot of people who I talk to, and including myself, had no idea that sustainability in like production even existed. So my story is that like Kent Hayward, who's a professor that we all had back at CSULB.
Shout out to Kent.
Shout out to Kent. Huge shout out to Kent.
Huge shout out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What a savior.
I know. I owe my life to him.
I'm going to send this clip to Kent.
Kent Hayward was actually the teacher that represented this thing called the Green Film School Alliance, which essentially is it's like a handful of schools across the nation, and some of them are international too, I think, who are part of this alliance that is supposed to teach sustainable filmmaking. And they've partnered up with the PGA, the Producers Guild, to partner up with sustainability professionals in the industry to basically teach students what it means to do production sustainably, and therefore like starting from the root, so people already have this as a given of like, okay, if you're going to do something, it's got to be green.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, so Kent was the representative professor at CSULB, and then
Long Beach.
Yeah. And he and my current boss, Heidi Kinberg, they like knew each other because Heidi is one of the leaders for the Green Film School Alliance. She partners up with all these like schools, and she's a great resource. But anyways, she had asked Kent like in the past if he had any like freshly graduated students who she could possibly recruit for like sustainability positions, like people who are just like fresh out of school, they're looking for something. And so in the past, Kent has given her like great people. And so I guess this time around she asked him again. And he sent an email out to like a handful of us, including you.
Including me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just like, I remember like getting the email, and I read it and I was like, I don't know what this is, but like, I'll just apply for it because I just really need something right now. And so I applied for it. I interviewed for it, and honestly, it seemed like a really cool role because it was like this new thing that I didn't know about, where like there's sustainability in productions, there's people keeping track of those things using like numbers and practices, and it's like a fully organized thing, and they just needed an assistant to help keep track of everything, do admin work, and keep them, I guess I just keep them organized. And so I was like, this could be like a cool thing while I figure out how to get into production in a different way. And also I think like it being for the planet just makes you feel better about yourself too, because you're like, this is for a greater cause too at the end of the day. So yeah, anyways, I interviewed for it and I got it, and then I took the job, and then I started January of 2023, like the first working day of the year. And and I think it has been a really cool experience because I had never been like a proper assistant before like that. Basically, it's very similar to being an executive assistant, except in a different way, I guess, based on the work that you're doing. Yeah. But
and you kind of hop around too right now, right?
Yeah. So, it's basically me doing a lot of admin work, figuring out documents, sending out emails, scheduling things for my boss, figuring out a lot of like tiny little details here and there that are going on. But also, I work on a handful of projects that help spread resources to production, so they know like which vendors to go to based on the location they're shooting in. They have like infographics that have information on like how to replace diesel energy with like clean energy sources, things like that. So it's a lot of like creating documents, designing flyers, doing admin work, collaborating with other people at our office, like with our transpo department, like everyone.
And you get to go to a lot of exhibition where they kind of show everyone this is the next step of sustainability in filmmaking. Like the one that you're talking about, the solar panel trailer, or like what was that about?
Yeah, so a big thing that I do too, I feel like I'm not explaining this well, but
No, go off. Yeah.
Another thing that I also do is Heidi, my boss, will sometimes not be able to make it to these. There's lots of demos and things for like these up and coming products that are coming up in the industry that are using more clean power, and they're trying to pitch it to entertainment companies so that they start using these products, not only so they make money off of them, but like so that you are actually making a difference and like using materials that are more sustainable and not depleting like the earth's natural resources too.
Yeah.
So a lot of it will be like, instead of using a diesel generator to like power certain things, it'll be like using solar power or like hydrogen power or like all these different things. And so the solar power trailer that I was telling you about is actors have trailers on set, right? A lot of the times, like if they're not plugged into power, they have to be run by diesel generators, and that's the entire time that they're using those trailers, which if you think about it is like 24 hours a day for you don't know how many days, and it's like insane how many carbon emissions that creates. And so these new solar trailers, they've actually been out for like a little bit, but they're essentially like running off of solar power instead. And it's so much better because it's zero emissions. It's pretty much the same quality of like trailer experience too, to the point where like a lot of celebrities prefer the solar trailers.
They make it really bougie too.
Yeah, they look super
way better
nice
than the normal ones.
Yeah, I've been inside of them and they're really, really nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, and just like it's really exciting seeing all this technology come out and making things a lot greener, a lot cooler to look at, and just like, you know, it makes you feel better about you like consumption and like using things and needing them for productions, which can be extremely wasteful. So yeah.
Yeah. And films are extremely wasteful. And the amount of paper, the amount of gas, and the amount of waste after every wrap day, it's crazy. I go on set, and after every day you see the PA kind of like cleaning up everything, and you see how many trash bags are there, and how people just, and there's some productions they buy small water bottles, like those plastic ones, so you take like 2 sips and you're done with the bottle and you throw it away. It's super wasteful. And I think sustainability is something Kent really honed in on while we were there. He really emphasized on that aspect of it, because it was such a new concept for a lot of filmmakers, and it could potentially kind of steer us into a new direction when it comes to filmmaking and productions in the future. So how does your week look like at HBO?
Well, I mean, every week is very, very different depending on what's going on generally with the company, because I think my general day-to-day is kind of like so I work 3 days in person at the office, and then 2 days I can work from home. And generally what it looks like is just me trying to figure out what the needs are for the day, like going through emails, seeing what my boss needs. We also like have a check-in in the beginning of the week just to see what's going on during the week. And again, it's just like working on those projects that I was saying, working on those documents that need work. We have like a database of information that we keep so that we can have resources to give people when they're ready for them. So it sounds kind of boring, but to me it's very interesting because it's like you're always collecting information on how to make things better. And I think that's like the mentality I try to go into with like everything that I do.
Yeah.
Is like systemically, we've always had a way of doing things, but now we are trying to make change, and the change is only possible if we have the resources to give them to people. And while it might feel like it takes a lot of convincing, as long as we have that information and we can back it up, like we have a solution that's plausible, you know?
Yeah.
So it really changes based on the week. So yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of kind of you thinking that it's not the easiest to kind of convince and to kind of push that idea onto other people to at least think about sustainability. What do you feel about people maybe not putting sustainability at the forefront every single time? Like it's not their priority all the time.
I think it's an interesting thing because especially for me, considering the fact that I didn't even know like sustainable production was like a whole sector of the industry
Yeah.
until like basically a little over a year ago. I think it's interesting because people need convincing just because they haven't really thought about it as being a priority in the first place. And I think a lot of times their judgment can be clouded by other things. Like an example is the Green Film School Alliance, right? They promote students to be using more sustainable practices to track their carbon footprint, to track everything, right? But the thing is, like, I think a lot of students feel like they can't prioritize that stuff because maybe it costs more money to like buy the compostable plates instead of the like plastic ones, or like
the aluminum cups that we used.
like those types of solutions might feel daunting because maybe it costs a little bit more when you already are working with pennies.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I think when you realize how important it is and exactly like how wasteful productions are, like, you'll start to understand like how badly we need a solution. Because if you really think about it, like, film sets are like, you're building sets, you're like doing all of these things, and then you're basically tearing everything down and then dumping it in the trash. Yeah. And then where does that trash go? Nobody knows, because nobody thinks about it, right? And then you're like having people drive back and forth to like pick up stuff for you. You're using diesel generators. Like, it's a lot, you know? And then that's not even like what larger scale studios do, you know? They have like full setups and people flying over to different countries and stuff too. It's just a lot of consumption that people just don't really think about.
Yeah.
And for me, like, that really related to me when I was like first interviewing, because I was just thinking about like fast fashion at the time and how wasteful that is, because of like how many clothes you can just see dumped like in landfills, or like even in like the back rooms of thrift stores and stuff, you know? I think it's just when you have a better idea of like what overconsumption looks like, you can like really understand like, okay, this is something that needs to stop because our planet's not getting any better.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyways, all of that to say, I think the root of the problem is the fact that people just don't know that. And they're not open to the idea of changing their practices because what they're doing right now has worked for a long time for them, and it's cost efficient, and they just know it better. And so being forced to like try new things can seem really daunting and scary to people. But if you really think about it, like, if people weren't trying new things, developing new inventions that make the world better, then like, where would we be right now, you know? And I think it's the same thing as like any other piece of technology that you would be willing to try as like a new consumer, you know? Like, why does everyone try to buy the newest iPhone? Because they want something that's better, you know, that's better and more advanced and is going to make their lives better. So why not see sustainable production that way?
Why not make it a popular thing where it is not only good for your production and also good for the planet kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
What would you say is the best way of implementing that kind of practices?
I think there's honestly so many methods. There's a lot of resources that you can look at too. Like, there's this website called greenproductionguide.com, and it's so helpful, and it just gives you so many like solutions. It gives you real life examples of sets that they've done stuff on too. Like one of the Spider-Man movies, which is like one of the biggest like examples to me that was really cool. It was like one of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
Okay.
They have a whole like video about it, and it's like, honestly, like, if Spider-Man can do it, like, you guys can do it too.
Yeah.
You know? And if all of these like HBO shows and Max shows can be doing it too, you can probably do it too. It's honestly just looking at where your consumption is the highest, and then having a plan for like how to mitigate that, or how to like separate your waste, and how to make sure that it goes where it goes. And it's pretty broad, but once you can honestly sit down, and once you figure out what your production is and how you're doing everything, you can sit down for like a day and just figure it out, and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like in a lot of cases, at least for low budget stuff and independent stuff, it seems a lot easier than you actually thought.
Yeah.
So I haven't been on too many sets that are labeled sustainable production. We were on a set that were sustainable, and you were one of the people that was in charge of that department, right? But that was on the Kent set, right?
Yeah,
that was the Kent set. Yeah. And it was such a good feeling to be able to walk on set and see everyone has their own bottle.
Yeah.
And at the end of every wrap day, we don't even have any trash. It's like we have
Well,
some
it was like
compost.
half a bag of actual landfill stuff. There was like a box of recycling stuff, and then our compost was mainly the biggest one. That production was a really big win for me too, because I felt like I was actually able to like enact change for the first time and on a set after like learning about all the measures you can take. And it was pretty cool.
And I was another set that I was on that is kind of quote unquote sustainable, which I feel like they didn't even do it on purpose. It just kind of happened by accident. They were renting out a place where they shoot. They just happened to have like a water machine there. Everyone happened to bring their bottles, and they happened to have a lot of plates, silverware there. So we ate in plates, like actual plates, and silverware. And then PA was washing it after the day.
And doesn't that feel like so much classier?
It feels clean. It feels very clean. It's stuff like that is like when you realize what the actual alternative is, you're kind of like, wait, this actually feels a lot better and more natural to do than just like serving stuff in like a bunch of boxes that are just going to be thrown out later. It tastes better.
And like water in aluminum bottles and cups taste so much better too.
We like on the Kent set, we didn't use plastic cups. We used the aluminum
but that
cups.
was only in the case that you didn't bring your own bottle too.
Which most of us did. So some people still had to use it, but what everyone was saying, like, water tastes better in that cup. And it was just so funny.
People would like ask me if they could just like use it to try it. And I was like, yeah, sure.
Would you say that's the most appealing part of sustainability in filmmaking?
I think so. Like people assume like, oh, just because you can't have disposable things or like you can't throw things away in a certain way that it like takes a lot more time or that it's like not as clean, but that's totally not true at all. There's like countless like companies out there too that do like dish rentals or like reusables rentals and stuff, and then they just take it back and they clean it and disinfect it, and that's their whole company, you know? So it's definitely not as daunting as people think it is. It's just a matter of sitting down and planning things out, you know?
Yeah.
And it can actually save a lot of money on student sets too.
In what ways?
Thing. Because if you think about it, like me buying one big jug of water and then a couple of like aluminum cups was already way less than buying like 3 cases of like disposable water bottles, you know? And by the way, newsflash, those plastic water bottles usually just end up going to the landfill and are not really recycled. As opposed to aluminum things can be recycled over and over again with like no deterioration of their quality. So that's like the biggest reason why you should probably just use like aluminum cans when you go on set. But there's just a lot of things that I learned in this position that has like really helped change the way that I see how to like live a life too. It's not just about like saying that you're recycling for the purpose of like feeling like you're going to do something better. It's like actually knowing what you can recycle, what goes where, and like knowing it's actually getting to those places too.
And I feel like it definitely helps too to know that other people are doing it too. Because you seem so small and useless when you're just doing it yourself. So to be able to hear other people's story and knowing that other productions are taking respective measure to keep their sets clean and sustainable is really helpful, because together we make a big impact.
And like it's like not just HBO and Max that are doing it either. It's like all of these studios have sustainability like representatives, like my boss. Like my boss is the VP of production sustainability at HBO and Max, but like there's people who work in Netflix and like Hulu and like Disney and all these places who also have people in similar positions to her. And they're all partnering up to make sure that they're trying to like take the best step forward. Like they're all looking at the like similar vendors to make sure that they're like using the best people and like being the most efficient and their efforts and stuff. And it's like a real effort that people are making, and it's awesome because you're just like hearing all these like great steps people are taking, all these like new technologies they're learning about, so you know everybody knows about it. It's a really, really cool thing that's happening in the industry that a lot of people just don't know about. And while a lot of it is pretty focused on technology and knowing how to dispose of things better and et cetera, it's also very creative for me, because all of these like new pieces of equipment and processes and practices and stuff are created because people were creative in the first place, you know? And that really appeals to my need for like creative problem solving. Because it's like you have this problem that feels very big and hard, but in reality, if you just think about it a little bit more and like try to get creative about things, you can really find a solution that's going to work for everybody. And
Yeah.
I really like that.
And your department of sustainability at HBO kind of oversees all production of HBO, right? That includes movies,
No, so
or
it's
just
just
shows?
it's just HBO and Max shows.
Just shows.
Yeah.
All the shows that go to
It's
their
like
streaming
everything.
platform.
It's everything that like HBO and Max like lead. Sometimes they have other production companies that are doing stuff, but it's mostly just HBO and Max like led shows.
That is an incredibly amount of work.
Yeah.
because your department is a department of 3
Yeah,
people.
our team is just 3 people.
Yeah, it's just 3 people for the entire company that oversees the entire content management thing.
Yeah.
And you guys have to track all the carbon emission and do all your sustainable practices, which is a lot. It seems almost unfair that your department is such a small corner of the company. So what's it like working in the film industry? I know you are also a very creative person. You want to have that creative output too. So what's it like working in the film industry, not on set, but very much in the office and corporate world?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really expect myself to be working in the corporate world this early in my career, I guess, but as it has found me,
Yes.
I'm trying to embrace it. I think it's interesting because we go to school like trying to like thinking that we're going to be working on productions. That's kind of the main thing that we train for. So we understand like how productions work, what they need, how to like produce things, how to work on them in different roles. But when it comes to working in like the corporate side of things, that's not really something that we learn. And like being an assistant isn't something that we learn either.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just like learning on the job. And I think that's kind of just what I've been doing is like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but when you get into the space, you just like learn from the people around you. And
I hate that's how like the tagline of film industry.
I know it feels really scary because you're walking, even when you're just like walking onto a set where you don't really know what the vibe is going to be or what the dynamics are too. It's always hard to walk in not knowing what you're doing and then just like learn and try and test things out and see if this is going to work. And if it doesn't, then you just like learn from it and you move on. And that's just like, I think that's just the experience of life too in general, not to get too deep, but
Like being thrown into a swimming pool kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. So I think for me, it was scary going in at first because I didn't know what it was going to be like. Like, first of all, walking into a corporate office, like as my first corporate job. And secondly, like working at a place that has so much like prestige and history that people already know about and people are dying to work this company. And it's, I think just knowing all of that it felt like a lot of pressure at first. But I think what really helped me was that my boss is like a very, very like kind person who was very patient with me when it came to like learning things. And honestly, like I couldn't have asked for a better like first experience in the corporate world or even as like having a big girl job too.
Yeah.
She's just been so extremely supportive. And like when I learn things from her, it's like her giving me good suggestions on like how to be a better worker, how to be like better for her and in general in the corporate landscape of things too. So everything I've learned has been from Heidi. It's been awesome.
Which is not always the case because there's a lot of not so cool bosses and not so cool people in the industry because it seems like almost like a generational trauma because they were brought up that way and they feel like the need to bring other people up that way.
Exactly. Like the whole idea of like people being really emotionally abusive and stuff in the industry is it's definitely something of the past, but there's a lot of people who they like were brought up by it and that's what they assume is like paying your dues before you get to where you want to be. And some people kind of still perpetuate that idea. Without, I think sometimes without realizing it, sometimes without like thinking like, oh, these kids have it so easy now, whatever. So I think I've just felt like extremely lucky that my first experience in this type of like dynamic has been so good.
Yeah.
And our team being so small, because we have another coordinator on our team, I think it has just resulted in us being a little bit more tight knit than like larger groups of people because it's all of us trying to like help figure out the sustainability space within like shows. And Heidi and the coordinator Jesse, they've both figured that out already. It's just a matter of like being able to keep track of everything and having the extra assistance that I'm bringing in. you know, but they are both so intelligent. They're such intelligent people. They like know what they're trying to do. They have like a really strong sense of like, this is a fight worth fighting for. And this is like a really important thing. And I think like being around that kind of space has been so good for me because it's like so motivating to see these people who really, really care.
Yeah.
And just like want to make a difference and are, they want to fight for like what their, you know, their side of production
What
needs.
they believe in.
Yeah, what they believe in. And
Yeah.
it's just been a really, really great space in that scenario. I think I've just been lucky with the people that I've been surrounded by because a lot of times it can be disheartening when you're around people who don't really care or they care about the wrong things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really cool. So I think being here instead of being on set has been interesting because I'm still learning a lot about productions. You
Yeah.
know, I'm in these
From the other side.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in these production meetings where people are talking about logistically what's going on set, and I'm able to like learn about, okay, on a studio scale, this is what productions are doing. You know, this is how they work, this is how they talk to each other, these are the dynamics. So that's been the biggest thing that I've like learned from being on this side is like
Yeah.
at least I can hear and like absorb and like learn what the environment is like, and that can like help guide the way that I act.
And it
moving
seems
forward.
like a really good place to be in too, especially if you want to pursue a career as a producer.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in these big, huge production meetings where
Yeah.
you're listening to executive producers and other producers, how they talk about logistic problems and how they kind of solve problems together.
Yeah.
Seems like a great place to be.
Yeah, I agree. It's really helped me see what the dynamics look like, and then how that might be different from what we're used to, like working on set with our friends and people that we knew from school. So it's been so valuable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a novelty of kind of treating your employee or treating people who are just coming up the way that you were treated back then? Do you think there's like a, I would say, I don't know, justified incentive? I don't know if that's the best way of putting it.
Like so that you see them learning the same way that you did. Is
It
that
seems
what you mean?
like building a tougher skin for the game, because this industry, for you to be in this industry, you have to have thick skin, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like they think, by they, I mean the generation maybe above us, they think that bringing us up the way that they were brought up with like kind of tough love and a lot of just very harsh environment, it has done them good, so it would do us good too.
I mean, I think I haven't experienced a lot of that like personally within the company. I can understand there being value in showing people how things like run and how they work. I just don't personally think that it has to be done with like not being kind to each other, you know? Like
Yeah.
I think when things happen and it's uncontrollable, that's when you really learn that things, you know? But if someone is purposely like trying to give you a hard time because they think you're having an easy time, like that doesn't really make sense to me. I think we learn things from really difficult situations, it's true, but I don't necessarily think that that should be like a situation that is created just for the sake of learning, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what would you say is the most challenging aspect of kind of navigating through this kind of world, this corporate world?
I think I'm pretty used to being in a more like casual setting. So being in the corporate world feels a little bit, it feels very formal to me. But I think finding the people that understand you and make you feel like seen has been, I think that's a really important part of it all. Because then you can align yourself with people who like have similar goals and have similar intentions, you know? Like I felt for a long time that I couldn't relate to a lot of people
Yeah.
in the corporate side of things, but I think like gradually as we've gotten closer with certain like experiences, it's been a lot easier to like realize like, hey, this person is like exactly like me. And if they're not exactly like me, they're very similar to me, and we should just all be on each other's sides to support each other. And I think that's been something that has taken a while for me to really like feel. But I'm finally feeling it and it's great.
Yeah, I feel like listening to the stories of our friends who are in corporate setting and how they kind of trying to blend in with the company and the people around there has always been a struggle at first. And talking to Derek earlier, a couple of
Yeah.
episodes ago, getting a buddy on set is like the same mentality of getting a friend
Yeah.
kind of in your corner and by your side.
Yeah.
So you're not too stuck in your head all the time.
Yeah,
So you have
exactly.
someone to talk to and to trust.
Yeah, it changes the way you work too. Like
Yeah.
it makes you feel more confident with where you are. It gives you like a point of reference of like, hey, is this what I should be doing, or is this person also doing something similarly? Do they feel the same way about certain people that I do? It keeps you sane.
I feel like that's one of the things that is one of the hardest things for me is that I don't know what I'm doing is right or not.
Yeah.
And I always have to kind of get out of my way and to talk to other people and reach out to other people to kind of have a reference point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate kind of my script supervising network and my kind of, it's almost like a mini family.
Yeah.
You know, that I appreciate them so much because we kind of like a support to each other, and we learn from each other a lot too. So yeah.
Also, it's like I think me and you can also relate being like I guess like a minority in the environment that we're in. As in not racially, but like well, kind of racially too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was referring to is like you are your own department on set, and then me being like the assistant in the sustainability portion of production is like there's only one me, whereas there's a lot of other like production executive assistants. So I think we both can relate about like needing the companionship to know that what we're doing is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
you never know.
Like you need to make your own community to know
Yeah.
that things are like fine.
Yeah. I feel like I was very naive in the beginning of me pursuing film. I was like, I don't need networking.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to be an extrovert and be all likable to make it in the industry. I can just focus on my work and believe in meritocracy and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a couple of years later, I'm like,
Yeah, it pays.
It's something that I have to do.
It pays to be social.
Yes, it's something that it sucks.
Yeah.
It's such a disadvantage to introverts.
Yeah.
Of the industry. So
I know we have to like change our whole personalities to like to find work and like to make companions.
Yeah, but you know, the more you do it, the better you are at it, and you realize, you know, don't be a genuine person. Be a genuine person. Don't be
a genuine person.
No, be a genuine person. Don't be like, okay, I'm talking to this person because I can get something out of them, you know. So
exactly.
be genuine and connect with people and make friends with people, and eventually things will come to you kind of mentality, right?
High school me is quaking in her boots.
Quaking in her boots.
Yeah.
Why?
Because like I don't think she would have imagined me being like so easily able to like talk to people. Even now I find it difficult to just like randomly talk to people sometimes, but like I'm so much better at it now than I was before, and it's because you've been forced into these situations where you kind of need to be, you know.
Oh yeah, like I at first in the beginning of kind of my career, I would say, I find it a little bit difficult to just walk up to like a sound mixer or walk up to a second AC and be like, hi, I'm Howard, I'm the script supervisor, and then I will be handling this, and we can help each other on this, and we'll be working together very intensely for the next like 2 weeks. You know, that was really hard for me at first. But right now I've realized that it has gotten a lot easier for me, but I also realized that it's something that I have to do. Because if I don't make that introduction at first, it's going to be so much harder towards the end, later on, when we have to work together and we never talk to each other, you know?
Exactly. I think that's like a really big thing is like, I think to be in this industry, you don't even need to be an extrovert. You don't need to be like super great with people. You just need to have initiative to like do stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to have initiative to like meet someone and learn about their experiences, or like make them feel like you value their presence even, or just like, introduce yourself so you have like key collaborators on certain things and creating a good experience, like you need to be able to do that. Because even if you hate it, even if you hate talking to people, like whatever it is, you need to know like what you got to do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Shout out to David F. Sandberg, who's like I think he did Shazam, he did Lights Out.
Okay.
I think he's from Sweden. He has a YouTube channel who he posts a lot of like tips and tricks of filmmaking, and also he does shit posts sometimes. And he did a video about being an introvert in that industry. That is quite informative. But that I just watch that. I just really liked it. Go check it out. Shout out to David F. Sandberg. So going back, you said you wanted to be a first AD when you were just starting off.
Oh yeah.
We didn't talk about this in the podcast, but when you were starting off, and eventually turn it into you wanting to be a producer. And you're actively pursuing this path right now. So what made you switch?
Yeah, well, I did first ADing because someone suggested that I do it like early years of college and stuff, and so I tried it for the first time and I really enjoyed the fact that like you as a first AD, like if someone comes up to you, you know the answer to like most things that they're gonna ask about, you know? Like you are the person that is keeping things running, that is like keeping things on schedule. Like there's a lot of pressure on you to keep things going, but at the same time you're so involved with every single department, and I really liked that. So I thought that I wanted to be a first AD. Even after hearing about the stats of how long they live and how terrible their
They have the
lives
shortest lifespan out of all the positions, right?
yeah, in the industry. I think it was like 60 something.
Crazy
Yeah, and
shit.
I was like,
Crazy.
maybe I only want to live till 60.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. So so I thought that I wanted to do that. And I was like being set up basically in school to first AD on a bunch of sets, and I was getting really like hyped for it, like obviously really nervous about it, but really hyped for it because I was like, I'm gonna really like after I do all these things, I'm gonna really know that this is what I want to do and this is gonna be my path. And I finally figured it out, because going into film school I either wanted to be an editor or a cinematographer, and then I realized I didn't want to do either of those things because they're way more complicated than I expected them to be. And so then I was like excited to finally find my niche of being like a first AD. And then the pandemic hit, and I didn't get to prove myself on any of those sets that were set up. And then we didn't have like productions happening for more than a year. And it was just like awful because I was like so excited to like know in my bones that this is what I wanted to do. And I just didn't get to do it. And it just sucked, you know? So then we didn't have productions for more than a year. And then when I was back on productions, it was like in really smaller roles. And then finally, my friend JJ, we're finally talking about JJ on the podcast.
JJ name drop.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's listening right now. He's like, oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I got name drop, guys.
Yeah. I know. I was like, can I go through this entire podcast without mentioning JJ?
Homie
But
keeps a tally.
I
He's
don't think
like,
that's
okay, this is the
possible.
third time someone mentions me in a podcast.
oh my God. Okay.
You're
Anyways.
listening, JJ?
We're making these jokes because JJ and I have been like key collaborators for a while now, so it just makes sense.
Which we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, me and JJ we've been good friends, and we started a podcast together over the pandemic. So we kept that's how we kind of stayed connected through the pandemic when a lot of other people fell off. And then when we got back to school, JJ pitched, he had an idea for a film, and then he asked me to pitch it with him during our like senior film choosing times. And so I pitched it with him, and he asked me to pitch it as his producer, and I was like, I don't really know what that means, but okay, I'll try it. So then we both pitched together, him as the director, me as the producer. And I really assumed the role, you know, like I really like stepped into it because I was like, if I'm not confident about this, like this is gonna fall apart. So we did that, and our film got chosen, and I was like, all right, now this is where like the real work starts. And then as we were gradually like learning what producing actually means, I was like, wait, this is actually a really cool thing because it's everything I liked about first ADing except without the pressure on set. So, and you don't have the pressure of like being the one that makes the day.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, this is cool because you're basically using a bunch of like planning and preparation to like in anticipation of this like film, and you have all this prep time to like make this thing happen. And you are really the basis of how something is going to get put together, because if you don't plan something properly, or if you don't work with a certain department, or if you miss any details, like things are going to fall apart. But I enjoyed the fact that like the producer is the center of a lot of things, because if you don't have it planned out, if you don't have it like figured out, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it just seemed like I fit the role much better than I did a first AD, because I didn't have to like struggle with like the timing of shots and everything.
Have to yell at everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's when I realized like, I think this is the role that I want to be in. This is like what I want to do, because it's really satisfying for my left brain, right brain. Because it's like creative like solution finding, but also like logistical things. So it just was really exciting for me, and especially for a film that was like so well written and like was so exciting, and to be working with like our dream team was amazing. Like it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And
so you kind of found it by chance too.
Yeah. Which
like
is I just feel so like lucky every day that that's the first experience I had, because it was such a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that film is called
Twin Aces.
Twin Aces, which is still doing festival runs.
I know, we're
like 2 years later.
I know, we're about to go see it in like a bigger theater in like a week too.
Am I invited?
Yeah. Well, we have to pay for our tickets.
Oh fuck! What the fuck? That's stupid.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, it's amazing how after 2 years it's still screening somewhere in LA or somewhere in the country. And yeah, so how was that whole? You can stream it on YouTube now, right?
Yeah.
It's called Twin Aces, directed by Josephine. Is that his name?
Josephine June is his
Josephine
director
June,
name.
director name. Oh my God, he's gonna get so mad. Why did you say it like that? But yeah, go check out Twin Aces on YouTube. You produced it. I scored it. JJ directed it and wrote it, and a bunch of our other friends all worked on it. So how was your experience working that set?
Yeah, I mean, considering it was my first time producing, I was so glad that I had like Nayeli and Saya, who are also my co-producers, like with me, because they like also kept me sane. I think like Nayeli had already had experience producing something before, which is why I asked her to like help with mine. And then with Saya, she just seemed to know what she was doing. And I think she had also produced stuff in the past before. So knowing that both of them were going to be on my team as a first time producer was a really amazing experience, because they like not only validated me, but they also like really helped spread the amount of work that we were doing. I think like working with JJ is so much fun because you know from straight off the bat that like the thing he wrote is good, you know, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. And I think like knowing that you're working with a director like that is so helpful, because they know where they have to make the hard decisions. And then you as a producer just has to figure out like, is this actually doable? Like, can we make enough money to make this thing? And if so, like, how do we communicate like that certain ideas need to be changed? And I think it was really helpful because not only is he my friend, but he's a great creative eye. And I think he writes things not only to be ambitious, but in a way that's doable and approachable. And that's a really great thing, because he just, at the end of the day, is also a filmmaker that wants to make things that are going to be great and cool, and be like really good quality. And I think at the end of the day, I was like, you know, I'm like crying that this permit isn't going through, or like I'm upset that this location is falling through, but like this film is a great project that I'm having a great time with my friends on, and at the end of the day, like this is what I want to do, and it's great, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that experience was just amazing, like working with him and with Alex as a DP, who also really knows what he wants out of the image of everything too. And it was a really good experience. I'm very lucky to say that, because a lot of people did not have good experiences with their senior films, but I really, really did. And I worked with people that were like-minded and awesome and fun. And I just made so many friends out of it. So
that's one of the sets that I was pretty bummed that I couldn't walk on set with you guys.
Yeah.
I wish I was part of that production on set.
Yeah.
But you know, I think I'm very fortunate and lucky to be able to score for JJ.
Yeah.
Later on, for the first time, where he hated me. He hated me in the beginning, apparently, and we didn't really know each other that well. But he trusted me to do his film, which came to me as a surprise later on, because I didn't know how big of a production it was gonna be.
Yeah.
So for him to trust me on that, and knowing how much he put the emphasis on music, is kind of a big responsibility.
Yeah, which if
know?
you guys have the opportunity to listen, 15,000 is a banger. It's a banger. It's so good. 15,000 on the Twin Aces
It's on
OST.
Spotify. It's on Spotify.
On Spotify. 15,000 is a banger.
Is that your
man.
favorite track?
Yes. Every time it goes on, I'm like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not the last one?
I'm bumping on
It's
it.
not other tracks?
No, 15,000, man.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, I can hear like a house mix being made out of that.
And you know what? Yeah, saying all this, I like looking back at it, I've obviously grown a lot since then as like a music writer. I wouldn't say sometimes I don't want to say I call myself as a composer, because I don't deserve that title. I
disagree, but okay.
But I just feel like I write music. I like writing music. I may not be good at it or professional at it.
I also disagree, but okay.
It's just something that I like doing. But I'm looking back at it, there's a lot of things in Twin Aces that I wish I could have done differently. I was definitely overworking myself at the time.
I think we all were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, knowing what I know now musically, I feel like if JJ made Twin Aces now, it would sound very different.
Ooh, re-release?
Nah,
Nah.
maybe, but it would sound very different.
Howard's version.
Howard's version. Yeah. So as a producer, what do you look for, and what do you look out for in a script?
I think I've made it pretty okay. For me personally, if I am not feeling a project, I will not be able to commit to it appropriately. I think since doing Twin Aces, I've only really been wanting to work on projects that feel like I resonate with, or who like has like maybe a writer or a director that is like Asian American, something that I like want to amplify, I guess. And so like a project that I would want to support is one that has like a writer director that is usually a minority in Hollywood, or has a story that's just like really interesting and fun, and I'm really excited to see it come together.
Yeah.
They're not mutually exclusive, but like, you know, if it's both, it's great. So I think that's kind of what I have been looking for. And also a really good team that like knows what they're doing, because I think if you just put blind faith in a team that like says they claim they know what they're doing, but then in reality it just they don't know, like it's a lot of time and money to invest in someone that doesn't know what they're doing, you know? And at the end of the day, if your key crew isn't experienced and like practicing what they need to be doing to get this thing together, like it's gonna be a waste of everyone's time. Yeah, but anyways, if I find projects that I'm really interested in like that, I like will do anything I can to get it made, you know? Crowdfunding is like a big thing that's been it's always very difficult, but for a project that's great that I feel like I can like market to people,
Yeah.
it's really fun for me.
I feel like you have to believe in it first too.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Or else it makes it a lot harder to make someone else to believe in it.
Exactly. And also I just feel like there's so much like content out there, or like so much like art out there that just is so irrelevant to like what's going on in the world and like the types of people that I surround myself with.
Yeah.
And my ultimate mission as I like try to get to the height of my career, hopefully, is to bring more of that into the world, like bring more monkey mans into the world.
Oh, that's actually my next talking point.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's actually my next talking point. So talking about this, so what's so important about the kinds of stories you promote and tell? Because I know that you recently saw Monkey Man by the time of this recording.
Yeah.
It's still in theater. It just came out like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And so what makes Monkey Man such an important piece of work to you? And why is it so important to keep on telling stories and promoting stories like these?
Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up with my parents watching a lot of like Bollywood movies, and it's to the point where a lot of people's like childhood movies that they watched when they were kids, like American movies and stuff, I just like don't know about them, or I haven't like watched them, and I don't have connections to them because I feel more connected to like the Bollywood movies that my parents would like watch with us all the time. But because of that, it's like I always knew what Bollywood was and I could appreciate it for what it was, but then it was very different than what Hollywood movies are. And it was also like a genre of movie and lack of representation that Hollywood would kind of make fun of a lot. And I think it was always disheartening for me to see like, oh, Hollywood really respects like Japanese filmmaking and French filmmaking and European filmmakers and even now Korean filmmakers and stuff, you know? But like India was always at the bottom of the list,
Like
if
the butt
anything.
of the joke.
Yeah, always
Yeah.
the butt of the joke, always these like stereotypes and stuff that people would see and like make fun of and like have really terrible Indian accents, thinking that just the accent itself is like funny enough. And I'm like, I get what they're doing, but at the same time, it's like not funny, you know? It's just not like if you think that like just making fun of a culture because you don't understand it is funny, like I don't think that that's enough to like create comedy. And at the same time, why is it that has to be comedy, you know? Why can't it just be like you are perceiving the culture for what it is and then appreciating it and moving on, you know? With everything else, it's like, oh, like they're great, they're totally fine like trying to embrace Chinese culture too in movies, you know? But I don't know, India's just always yeah, the butt of the joke. The disrespect is like fucking real, you know?
Yeah.
And I think for me, it was like, it really puts you in a weird spot, like seeing what people perceive of you on screen, because then you're seeing all these characters you've never even met, you know? Like these people who like, they claim to be like a stereotypical Indian person, but I'm like, that doesn't exist. That's not real. Like this is your idea of it. And the most harmful thing is like, maybe it is made for like satire, whatever. But the most harmful thing out of it is that like, I think people just don't know Indian culture at all, to the point where they will ask the stupidest questions to me and I'll be like, why would you ask me that? Like, obviously no.
So Parvati, have you seen Slumdog Millionaire?
Dude, like entering film school, that was the first question people asked me. And I was like, why that movie? Like,
Yeah.
you know? Or they would ask about Three Idiots, which for some reason a lot of people have seen. Like,
I mean, it's a better question than Slumdog Millionaire.
yes, exactly. Three Idiots is a good movie. You know, it's
a
fine.
wonderful movie.
Yeah, but then people would ask me about Slumdog Millionaire, and I'd be like, yeah, I've seen it. I don't love it, but it's there. You
But
know?
have you seen Doom?
He's trying to say Doom for the people
Doom
who
2?
Doom 2. Yeah, but and then also like, oh, you said Doom, and I thought about Temple of Doom, which is another thing.
Shout out to Big Bang Theory, by the way.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's just there's too many things, you know, too many caricatures of what people think are like what Indian people are like, and then asking them questions. And I remember watching Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Shout out.
No, not shout out. I remember watching Temple of Doom with my family because my parents love Harrison Ford, and we were watching Temple of Doom, and we were just at some point we're just like, ew. I think we just turned it off because we were like, this is so gross. Because it was like them showing this like Indian cult, like eating monkey brains or something, and I think like, I know that it's meant to be satire, but like when you don't know anything about the culture, it makes people like actually think that that's what people do. And I'm like, okay, like that's not what we are. Like I think someone genuinely asked me, like,
Monkey
do people
brain.
in India? Yeah, and I was like, are you actually joking right now?
Where do you think this stemmed from? Is it just purely media portrayal and the ignorance that come within it?
I mean, I think the answer to everything is racism, but like,
I mean, everything goes back to racism and anti-Semitism.
yes,
Yes.
but yeah, it's just people not knowing.
And
you
so
know?
how do we potentially make it better? Just steer it to the right direction instead of just perpetuating this kind of false media portrayal, and people gain a false belief and understanding of what a culture is.
It's better when you have people who actually understand the nuances better.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why I've loved Monkey Man so much is because, like, obviously I have my own critiques of like the storylines, what is missing, whatever, filmmaking wise, whatever. I think though that like Monkey Man has stood out to me so much and made me so like proud because of like Dev Patel, because he made this project that made Indian people look cool and like look like a person that I would want to dress up for Halloween as, you know, and shows a great mixture of like, this is what the culture is in terms of like, this is what like a lot of the bad stuff looks like in India, like politically, environmentally, this is what like a lot of the bad stuff looks like. But he also gave so much of what the beauty looks like the beauty of like familial relationships, which is a huge thing, is like being close with your family and companionship and collectivism.
Yeah.
And also like seeing the beautiful like naturey parts of India too, seeing the beauty in religion and acceptance of one another for each other's souls, not just the way that we look like or who we are. And I think all of that combined really made me love the movie so much, because it gave like a multidimensional look at what it means to be Indian. Even if I don't live in India and I don't like speak the language super well, it's like understanding what the essence of being Indian is and the beauty of everything that people don't really see because they don't experience it themselves. Yeah, I think seeing that the multiple dimensions is what is really needed, because when you just see like the dirty parts of India or like the really awful ways that people are treated, like that's how you're going to perceive India. Like you just watch Slumdog Millionaire, that's the only idea of what you think India is. Yeah. Then you think like, oh, why do people even live there? Like whatever, you know? Obviously this stuff exists, but when you realize that there's so much more to it and that this is like a sacred land that to these people, and there's so much nuance within it that needs to be seen, that visibility is like what really makes you love something. And I think that's what this movie like did for me. obviously, despite all like the story critiques and stuff that I have.
Which we'll talk about that in a separate occasion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I think that's why I love Monkey Man so much and why it stands out even from a lot of other newer things that have come out for me. Like one thing that I really enjoyed actually recently, I feel kind of guilty. Like it's kind of a guilty pleasure, but it's also fine. Never Have I Ever, the Netflix show that Mindy Kaling made. Mm-hmm. I also have a lot of critiques about it, but I think the main reason why I don't like the show is because of these like really cringy, like teenagery stereotypes. But reasons why I love the show is because they show like South Indian culture specifically very, very well. Well, not very, very well. I think it's in a sense that like you like visibly see South Indian culture and how it's different from North Indian culture, and you see those relationships with each other. And I think just like hearing certain words that you would only hear out of the mouths of like people like yourselves and never on a screen is a really cool experience too.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in no way saying that Never Have I Ever is like the best show ever to watch if you want to understand like Indians or whatever, but I think just like those little steps have been really helping me feel more so like we have a place in this industry too.
Are these kind of the arts and films and stories you want to tell and you want to produce eventually?
Like kind of, yeah. I think it's along a similar vein. I don't know if it's always like, yeah, I think it's along a similar vein for sure. It's like varieties of different genres, like a teenager like drama comedy thing, but it's like through the eyes of a South Indian girl. It's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, like a John Wick-esque like action film, thriller film, but through the eyes of like an Indian person. It's pretty cool, you know?
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like just make this stuff more normal so, you know, I have someone to look at and feel like that's me.
Yeah. I feel like more and more so recent year when it comes to Asian American culture.
Yeah.
Or just Asians in general.
Yeah.
Shout out to The Farewell. Mm-hmm. That film really connected to me when it comes to it spoke to me a lot because I felt the same way of that cultural split that the main character has and the struggle that she was having.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a lot more of Asian American cinema.
Yeah. Like even for me, like we watched Everything Everywhere All at Once and like I cried a lot. I cried a lot watching that movie because I think it's like that, even though it's not the same culture, it's like we all identify with very similar feelings with like our families and what it means to us to be there for them and stuff. And I really resonated with that movie too because it was
I love that thing where people are saying that like
Asian parents apologizing to their kids.
The new fantasy genre of like the grandma or the parents apologizing to the kids.
Yeah.
Wow, such a fantasy.
It's so funny. But it's like you feel seen in a way, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so someone else does feel this way and it's not just something I'm talking about with my friends. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so what pushes you to keep on pursuing your producing career at this point? Because you are also balancing your full-time job and you're also trying to be very quite selective of what you produce on the side because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently taking a bit of a break from producing, as you know, because I think I've been trying to, like, while I'm working this full-time job too, I've been trying to, in the past year, I was trying to produce things on the side. I was finding it really difficult though, because as someone who's already graduated from film school, I want my sets to feel like they're progressing past that. And unfortunately, I think that when you only know how to produce things one way, that's kind of how things tend to go. And I've been wanting to like gain more experiences, like learn more from other people and stuff. So I'm taking a bit of a break before I go back to produce something else right now, because I want the quality of what I do to be getting better as I grow.
But you are taking a class that specializes in line producing.
Yeah.
And you are learning a lot about that.
Yeah. Which is really cool. I'm taking a UCLA extension course on line producing. It's been interesting because it's like, it feels like almost like a refresher from when we were in school, but on the scale of like studio level productions, which is really cool. So I think I've just been feeling very lucky to have the space to like learn more about how to be a better producer, what is needed, what to consider, how to just improve the quality of the work that we do. And I want to do that before I approach like producing something again, because I think I deserve that. My crew deserves that. People I collaborate with a lot deserve that. But I'm continuing to pursue this type of career because, again, like I said, like it made me so happy to see like a multi-dimensional version of what like of identity in different cultures and understanding like family dynamics and all of these things, because people feel understood when they see their stories on the screen.
Yeah.
And I don't care if like I make something and then it gets like the Oscar nomination or whatever because of like, you know, socially like
The PC movie.
yeah,
of the
the
year.
PC movie of the year. Like I don't care about doing something like that. It would be cool, but like I don't care about doing something like that just for the trophy. Like I want to do it because it makes people feel like they have worth in the world because people are seeing them. People are like seeing their struggle and what they go through and empathizing with it and like enough to tell the story of like, hey, did you hear about this guy who worked really, really fucking hard to get to the way to place that he is? And this woman who like endures through all of this stuff because she is worth it and because she has a life that she can live and be so much bigger than what she feels is the box that she's put in, you know? Those are the types of things that I want to like be able to tell the world through a story that actually impacts the way that you see things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And I feel like it convolutedly goes back to what I said about the second project that I did, where it's like you can impact the way that people feel based on the way that you put things together in a piece. And that's just, I think that's the purpose that I have in the world. Yeah.
Any war stories?
In what realm of my life are you asking
Any realm. I mean, it could be the corporate world. It could be any set you've been on as any position. It could be student film. It could be, I don't know, your high school projects. It can be anything that's relating to, you know, the art and the craft.
So there's one from Twin Aces that I've actually told a lot. But when we were shooting Twin Aces, it was principal photography before we needed reshoots. This was the reason why we needed reshoots.
Oh, wow.
But basically we had one location that was a gas station in Corona, which was a long way for us to drive for a location. And we were paying this guy to let us use his gas station, basically. And we had a plan and everything. And we had an agreement with him, like a location agreement. It's not legally binding because it's just like a school document kind of thing. But we had a location agreement with him saying like, okay, we're going to be here for this many hours. We're going to be using the indoors and the outdoors. And we had talked to him about it and stuff. And we had agreed on everything. But the thing is, like, the day of that we showed up, we were shooting and he ended up like saying that he was going to be leaving like 4 hours earlier than he told us he originally was going to. And then when he was leaving, he needed us to be out of the interior location.
Okay.
Which meant that he cut out 4 hours of our schedule, which was actually our entire time inside the gas station. And everything else was going to have to be exteriors, which we had either already gotten or like didn't need as much time for. So we were like freaking out because it was like, this guy is leaving and he was not budging when we would like try talking to him. I remember poor Isaac was like going to him and trying to talk to him and trying to figure out like if we could stay longer.
Isaac was the AD.
He was like the first AD. Yeah. I remember him going to him because I just felt so like useless, you know. I was like, I don't know what to say because this guy is leaving and he has no legal obligation to like follow what we asked for, you know. So we had like basically 1 hour to shoot inside, and the whole hour was taken by setting up like lights and equipment inside the tiny space. And then by the time they started shooting, the hour was over, and then this guy got really angry at us for not keeping up with what he thought was the deal.
Yeah.
And it was really dramatic, and he like storms out and is like, you guys are taking all this time to shoot in here, and I told you can only be in here for an hour. And I was like, bro, we talked about this 2 weeks ago and you said it would be fine. And so then he gets all angry. He like tells us to leave. So we just leave the interior location. He locks up and then that's it. You know, he locks up the inside. That's all we got. And then we're all just like outside, just like standing around for like 10 minutes. Like, what the fuck do we do now?
Yeah.
Because we had only budgeted for like principal photography. We thought we were going to get everything. We'd paid money to be here when everybody else had allowed us to shoot for free as students. And it was just like a lot for us, you know? was really frustrating. I remember JJ threw my clipboard because he was so upset about what happened. Like,
Really?
we didn't like get, and I was like, yo, like, I know it's a clipboard, but yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
So yeah, so it was really hard because we were like it was hard to celebrate at the end of principal photography because I was like, we didn't even get everything.
Yeah.
And I think me as a producer, I felt like I had failed too, because it was like, it should have been my job to make sure that things like were fine. But Isaac was the one that went to talk to the locations person, because I just didn't, like, I was gagged. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know? So
That was also your first producing gig, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like extremely hard on myself for all the mistakes I made too. But it was a really hard experience, because I was like, oh my God, like, what are we going to do now? You know? Thankfully, you know, everyone on the team was like very, very solution oriented too. And Saya was able to find another location where we were able to shoot for free. And the owners were so willing to give it to us for free because they were really supportive of like film students, and it ended up being a way better location anyways. So that was a really great, I guess, resolution. And we also raised more money for like doing reshoots too, which was great. But yeah, I think that experience made me, it definitely like changed the way that I think about producing, because I was like, people can go back on their words anytime they want, and you need to be able to like figure shit out, because on a full production where you're paying everybody to be there, like, you would be losing so much money with something like that. So you got to have a backup plan. And I think that's, it was a pretty formative experience for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of war stories stem from locations and permits.
Yeah.
It seems like that's always the most iffiest place.
Yeah, and like with locations, like, I understand people being protective over like their space or whatever, but they can ask for some pretty ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Like they can like, on a larger scale thing, when you have contracts and things drawn up, like, they can ask for some pretty sneaky things, and then like, if you don't read all of it, you're gonna like end up signing on to replace all of their floors, you know?
Ugh,
it's crazy.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even begin to like see myself as a producer and figure out all the logistics sides and all these legal issues and permits and all of that. I just can't handle it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But to each their own, you know?
Yeah.
You're really good at it. I suck at it.
I
know.
don't think so, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're good at things that I'm not good at, and I'm good at things that you're not good at. And it's just kind of...
You're telling me you have a bad script supervisor? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, it's one of those jobs. If you don't do it, you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people say film set is like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
It's such a cliche of a saying, but it is true, because everyone is there for for their profession. They're very good at something that will make this whole machine work really well.
Yeah, exactly.
So to be able to bring together a group of people who are really good at their job and come together and collaborate with each other is always so magical. Yeah. Would you say producer is the author of a movie or not?
No, what?
You don't think so?
The writer is the author of the movie.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think so? You think director is also not the author of the movie?
Oh, well.
So producer, I say that because producer is the one who hires the director, who hires most of the crew.
I think the producer is like the publishing company.
That's the
in the
no
analogy.
Not necessarily.
I don't think I think it's like when we were in Jack Tucker's class, how he was saying like the editor is the last filmmaker in the process.
That's not true.
What?
The composer is.
Bruh. Okay, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think everyone is a filmmaker in their own respect. Like saying that I'm a producer doesn't mean that I'm not a filmmaker just because I'm not the writer or the director.
No, of course, obviously. Yeah. I think everyone on a film set is a filmmaker.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your position is. You are contributing your work to make a film happen. Mm-hmm. You are a filmmaker. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Right.
Also, it's interesting because like being in television and also being in films is like very different, because in television, like the industry is run by the writers, you know, they have a lot of creative executive producers which run the shows. And it's like, I think I might want to go into television because it's so, I like that it's like episodic portions that help develop a story even further than like a movie can. And I think that I resonate more with that type of media anyways.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing that I'm gravitating towards, I guess. And a lot of the times, like, they're being produced by the writers, or like the showrunner will be like the person that wrote it or created it. And while I am not a writer, I think it's still interesting, and it pushes me to maybe try to like write more, to be better at that, to be better at like story structure and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Lightning round.
Lightning round.
We're almost at the end. So we're going to end with the lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes.
Favorite plant you own right now?
Probably my polka dot begonia, because I'm trying to figure out how to help her be better.
She's so cute. She's tiny.
Her third leaf fell off.
Oh no.
I know, so she's back to 2, but it's fine. We're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out. One of your favorite films and why?
I was recently thinking about The Last Black Man in San Francisco, because it's such a like beautiful and heartbreaking movie for me. I think it really represents what it feels like to really like want something really badly, but systemically not being able to have it. And I think that's such a deep pitted feeling that a lot of that I haven't experienced a lot in films. And I just think it's so beautifully shot, great actors, very genuine story, genuine people. Yeah.
Great score too.
Great score.
Great score.
Amazing
Yeah.
score.
One of your favorite filmmakers. Doesn't have to be director. Just pick one.
Filmmakers. I love Greta Gerwig. I'm not a huge fan of Barbie, but I love Greta Gerwig. I think she's also a very genuine filmmaker who knows what it is to communicate what being a girl, like girlhood and womanhood is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's excellent. She's great at showing like the nuances of that and what it's like to just be like human. And I love that so much. And Little Women is my Barbie.
Yes. Yes.
It's like,
Gregory actually made a better Barbie before Barbie.
yeah. Little Women is my Barbie. I have 2 sisters, so it especially speaks to me. Yeah, she's a wonderful filmmaker. I also love Yorgos Lanthimos though.
Yeah.
He makes some of the weirdest fucked up shit ever, but it's so entertaining every single time, and he's amazing. I really love him. And I'm really excited for his movie coming out in June.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's just pumping these babies out super quickly. Yeah.
I hope it doesn't feel like he's changing too much, but I like the Yorgos touch.
Yorgos touch.
Yes.
Yeah. Favorite genre and why?
Favorite genre? I mean, probably drama. Like drama and like sort of dark comedy. Yeah, I think I really like those. I think dramas tend to tell stories that I resonate with more, and dark comedy feels like not stupid comedy. Like it's like, it feels, I think both genres feel very real to me, because it's like kind of how you live your everyday life, you know? Yeah.
Favorite Harry Potter franchise moment and why?
Moment?
Out of all the 8 movies, what's your favorite moment?
Oh my God. There's a lot of good ones.
Check the cane.
Okay, not that one. There's a lot of good ones, but recently me and Aisha, my sister, we always laugh when we think about this one scene in the 6th movie, which used to be my least favorite movie, but now it's a lot better.
Half-Blood?
Half-Blood Prince, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorites.
That's crazy. Anyways, my favorite moment from that movie in particular is like when, and this is a spoiler alert, so like skip like 10 seconds if you're listening to this, but it's when Slughorn and Harry are at Hagrid's hut after Harry's taken the liquid luck, and Aragog is like dead, like lying dead, and then they do like a bit of a memorial service for Aragog, but Slughorn is here like wanting to take like the venom from the spider because it's like really valuable, right? And then he does a little memorial and he's like, the body will decay. But his soul lingers on. It's just so silly.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I love it so much. And then it like looks like Harry's just like really high off of this like thing this potion that he's taken, and then Hagrid's like sobbing, and it's perfect.
It's a great moment.
It's a perfect scene.
It's a great moment. Yeah. What's your cinema spirit animal?
What does that mean? Like a character in a movie that's an animal?
Yeah.
Whoa.
A spirit animal that's in a film or in a show somewhere.
Oh my God. Wait, let me think about that for a second.
Okay.
I think I would say Ash from Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Because
With the sock over his head.
With the sock over his head, because I think that he's such a like bitter little kid who's like so angry at the world. But he like steps up when things really matter. And I think I like really identify with that.
A bitter little kid.
A bitter little kid who's just like angry at the world, but when things really need, like when you
You'll
really,
step up.
Yeah, you'll step up. And I think that's
Good answer.
me.
Good answer. Favorite thing about producing?
Favorite thing about producing is, I think it's just satisfying seeing things come together. Like when you first start a project, you like make a list of all these things you need, and then seeing like gradually checking off all those boxes, and then finally being on set and being like, this is, I can relax because things are going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite thing about sustainability?
I think how open the space is and how approachable it is, and how actually easy it is for people to follow through with taking sustainable measures towards like living a better life or doing sets more green. It's so simple once you pay attention to it, and people are so nice about doing things for it.
Yes.
So there's no reason why you should not be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone. There's a message for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. What makes a set, quote unquote, well produced?
I think when it's like I was saying, when you can go on set and relax because you've done all the prep work in advance. So when things move smoothly and to the level of quality that the project deserves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's probably the cleanest sentence I've had this entire recording. That's funny.
Least favorite common phrase or jargon that the corporate world uses? One of my least favorite is get our ducks in a row. I hate it. Gross.
I recently tried using that phrase in a conversation, and I was definitely using it wrong. I was like, what? Get my ducks in a line?
Why are they in a line?
Line up? But at the same time, why are they in a row?
I don't know.
What are we doing
it's
here?
Stupid.
It's a lineup.
Speak English, please. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to think. Now I can't remember anything, but a lot of it is stupid.
Can you remember me? See my screen? That one?
No. I maybe let's table this just because it means that you're not going to talk about this topic for a while now.
Let's table
Like it usually
this.
means you're killing someone's idea, and I'm like, this is annoying.
What does that even mean? Like not, let's put it aside, postpone discussion.
Yeah.
Let's table this.
Yeah.
All right, let's table this. That's so stupid.
It is stupid.
You. All right, we're almost done.
Yeah.
Okay. Biggest fear.
I'll give you a deep answer and a not deep answer.
Okay.
Deep answer is loneliness.
Loneliness.
Isolation.
Isolation.
Mentally and physically.
Wow. That's deep, bro.
Not deep answer is snakes.
They're so cute.
No.
Snakes are so cute.
No, man. No.
I'm gonna have a pet snake soon.
Okay, and then I will leave.
Okay, you'll never record a podcast with me ever again.
Yeah.
Okay. Are tennis balls green or yellow?
They are green, motherfucker.
Good.
Did I say green? Whoa. Wait, that's like a psychological thing, isn't it?
Whoa.
What's it called when you like say what you're thinking, but you say it like the wrong way?
Are you thinking yellow?
I
Are you
guess-
officially
No, I
changing
think
your answer to green?
I am changing to green.
You're team green now?
Whoa. That's crazy.
Wow.
Do people know why you asked this question?
No, no.
This is the episode you give the origin story for.
Sure. The origin story of this question is that we had a big debate. When was this? A year ago?
I don't know.
A while ago. A long time ago. A couple months. I don't know. A while ago. Where we were having this big debate with you, me, JJ, and everyone we would meet.
Yeah.
All of our friends.
Yeah.
We would just keep asking, are tennis balls green or yellow? And it seems to be there's two teams. Some people think it's yellow, some people think it's green, and we ended up posting it on Instagram story and created a poll where the decision was majority green, right?
I think so.
Or something
and
like
I
that.
I was very hard like on Team Yellow.
Yes. So, but it was just a question that I thought it's pretty memeable and it's pretty funny. And we're going to settle this debate once and for all in this podcast.
No, I'm changing my answer. It's yellow. I
It's
just
yellow?
looked it up. It's yellow. Yeah, it's yellow, bitch.
Okay, you just looked it up?
It's yellow. Yeah.
Your team yellow?
I'm Team Yellow again.
Okay.
It's neon yellow, man. It is not green.
Okay.
In honor of the new Zendaya movie, it is yellow.
Chalenge?
Chalenge.
Chalengers? Okay, team yellow.
Team Yellow, man. Oh my god, Google says tennis balls are fluorescent yellow.
Google also said that
Your mom.
your mom fucking got him.
It's yellow. It's
Okay,
totally
team yellow, are you locked in your answer?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm totally locked in. I misspoke earlier. It's not green.
It's yellow.
It's yellow.
Okay.
And if you don't think it's yellow, you're an idiot.
You're a fucking dumbass.
You're a dumb
You're
piece
dumb.
of shit. And you don't deserve to watch Challengers in theaters.
Why are you even here? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, get out.
Get out of
Get
here.
out. Last one. Favorite podcast and why is it this one?
That's funny of you to assume.
I'm holding a gun in front of your head.
Yeah. I was really excited for this one because I've listened to so many other episodes of these, and it's honestly really hard to talk about myself, I think. I like talking about myself, but when I know other people are listening, it feels weird because I feel like I need to hide certain parts of myself. But I think it's important to know certain things, and I would have wanted someone to talk about their nuanced experiences also, post-grad, also being a brown person wanting to make it in the industry. So I think it's important.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But obviously, I have a podcast too that should also be...
That's not as important
That
as
is
this one,
honestly
obviously.
so much cooler than this
It's
one.
not even close, actually. Yeah, so that was the lightning round. And before we end this episode, any last words, any recommendations, anything you've done, anything you've seen, anything you've heard recently that you want to recommend to people out there listening?
I think people should watch Monkey Man.
Yes.
And it's okay if you don't love it, but I think you should watch it because it made me happy. And I want more things like that to come out. So make that shit popular so we can have more of it.
Yeah.
And don't be dumb, be green. Be green about what you do. And be kind to each other and support each other and be good people.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
That was
And
the
free
episode?
Palestine.
Oh my god. That's the episode.
Yay! What's the outro gonna be?
The outro is gonna be now.
What?
Listen to the light jazz that I'm putting on.
I don't know why, but when I asked like what the outro would be, I thought about Thanos sitting on his throne.
Thanos. Thanos just sitting there making soup.
Yeah.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye guys.
Bye.
That was the outro.
Watch Little Women.
Watch Monkey Man.
Watch Lady Bird.
Watch Farewell.
Watch The Lobster. Goodbye, Hello by the Beatles. And you'll know what I'm singing. Okay. Ready
Yeah.
when you are, buddy.
Okay.
Buddy-o.
Is your phone silenced?
Yeah.
Welcome